God bless you on today. My name is Michael Ellis, and I am a direct response consultant / copywriter. What does that mean? That means that I help small and large businesses, sales executives, coaches, and career advisors to do several things. Number one, to promote their brand. Number two, if they have a website, to drive more traffic to that website and convert the leads into loyal customers. Number three, to rank high with Google on the internet. That's very important. And last but not least, to increase in their revenue. Just a little bit about my background before I get into a message called Your Academic Teacher Will Never Share This Information with You. And if you see me looking down a little bit, that's because I'm checking my notes to make sure I don't miss anything and give you the value of this video. Now, I've been married for 21 years. Why do I say that? Because when you're married, you deal with human interaction, social communication. You have to be able to get through the good, bad, and the ugly times together with a common goal. Businesses do the same thing. They experience different seasons in the business, the good, bad, and the ugly, but you have to stick with it in order for it to be successful. And to realize that failure is a part of success. Life is a journey. What else about my background? I'm a previous paraprofessional at Middletown High School, helping mainline teachers with adolescents who were troubled in their character and in their academics. I'm also a previous STEM camp counselor. I've been in the martial arts for over 30 years. Here's why I say that. The martial arts has over 17 business principles involved. Again, the martial arts has over 17 business principles involved in it. Things like adaptability, creativity, patience, putting your students or customers before you, your qualitative research, open-ended questions, pose surveys. They use that in marketing as well. Your quantitative data, your numbers. How many push-ups are we doing today? How many people came this month? How much revenue and things along that line, which are basically called in digital marketing your metrics. I also obtained a BA in psychology with an accelerated course through Charter Oak State College, located in New Britain, Connecticut. My GPA was 4.0, and I did that by the grace of God in 16 months instead of 48 months or 4 years. I've done strategic outreach for over 20 years. Gang intervention and prevention. Drug, alcohol, and suicide intervention and prevention. Marriage counseling. Divorce counseling. So that's a little bit about my background. I love to listen to jazz and play cards and watch positive movies with my wife when I'm not working. Now, the message is, your academic teacher will never share this information with you. Now, a lot of people don't have a clue about the important roles essays play in digital marketing. There are negative influences out there that rather you not hear this message or this information. Why? Because imagine if you can blind two important sources for marketing growth from coming together and creating a win-win situation, as Stephen Covey advocated, who was a great author, you can keep people dependent on an oppressive system, aka the corporate status quo. That status quo is implemented in schools, and as you know from working any amount of time in corporate America, it's there. There's positive sides, but there's a lot of negatives as well. So, the original author of Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, said that if the American school system really wanted students to maximize their full potential, the average student would graduate by the 8th grade and would be able to run their own business. Think about that for a moment. We have in the American school system 12 grades. Napoleon Hill, a genius, stated, and it's a fact, that if things were taught different to the average student, they would be able to graduate by the 8th grade and able to run their own business. But because of corporate greed, 4 more years are added, and then they activate and advocate go to college as well. Now, I'm not knocking college because I've been there myself, and it was a great benefit. However, I did not go in college with an oppressive attitude of working for someone else. I'll repeat that. I did not go into college with the oppressive attitude of working for someone else. The American school system is based off of factory labor and slave oppression, slavery. So therefore, they teach students basically to work for someone else. And when you're taught that way, you are not able to reach and maximize your full potential unless you use another strategy, going in while you're there and coming out. For example, when I went to Springfield College, there was a professor there in the communication class called Professor Anderson, dynamic man. He said, I'm going to teach you students how to speak in your own unique speaking voice. I'm going to teach you how to write it, speak it, express it. In other words, maximize your creativity. He said, but I warn you, if you go to a school of journalism, that creativity, your speaking voice will be silenced. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how most major news commentators and journalists on television sound alike? I'll repeat it so you can get it. Have you ever noticed how major news journalists and commentators sound alike? They have that same body structure, a monotone tone. They almost sound like robots when compared to another one, a cookie cutter. That's because the School of Journalism has suffocated and oppressed their unique speaking voice. Probably never heard that before, but it's so. Now, let's move on. Now, furthermore, there are not many educators sharing these truths that I'm about to share. Again, I repeat, the role of the essay, whether it's taught in elementary school, middle school, high school, and or college, especially there, the truths about the role of an essay in the digital marketing world have not been exposed. And I'm going to expose that in a little while. We've been lied to because most educators have been brainwashed by an oppressive teaching system. Now, let's look at the classroom. You go into the classroom, the chairs and desks are seated a certain way. You got to raise your hand. Look at a factory. Back in the day, that's how they set it up. Now, you got to realize when you're not taught how to maximize your full potential, you become stuck, agitated, and unbalanced, and you're not going to be the great asset to yourself, your family, your community, and society that you can be. There's a saying, be the best that you can be. You can't do that if you're being taught by an oppressive system and not keying in to something beyond that and more powerful and influential, such as what I'm giving here. So in college students are taught and required to give 150, 200, 300, 700 or more words to just one answer on the syllabus. I'll repeat that. When I was in college, we were required to give 150, 200, 300, 700 or more words of an answer to just one question. Why is that important? When you're in digital marketing, before you get hired, a lot of times they'll give you a sample test and they want a specific word count. You are already being prepared for that. If you're in college, or even in high school or elementary school, taught about essays, they're requiring a certain word count there. They require it in digital marketing. You're already being prepared, is my point. So don't let anybody fool you and tell you, or when you apply for a certain position, that you're not qualified. A lot of times people say that out of stereotypes, they're prejudiced, they want their friends and relatives to get that position, or they sense that you have maximized your potential to a certain point and they feel intimidated by hiring you, afraid that you may knock them out of the slot. And look at it this way. If the door closes, God didn't want you there anyway. Let's move on. Now, I told you about how this strategy helps a person to make a required word count for a blog, magazine, or an article with the answers given by 150, 200, 300, 700, or more words. So let's move on. Now, the average length of an undergraduate's essay can be from 3 pages to 20 pages and includes 10 to 15 references. An MBA student or a student in the master's program, their average essay can be 20 pages long to 50 pages long and with a requirement of 20 to 50 references. References are important to show authority and credibility. Authority and credibility are vitally important in digital marketing. There's no company worth its salt that has a blog or a website or a podcast that does not establish their credibility by showing their expertise, aka their authority in a subject. Power Fitness. Look at a major gym. They will tell you their values. They will show you the expertise, not only about exercising, about dieting, rest, and things of that nature, how to deal with injuries. They're giving you information, establishing their authority so that you can get value out of that website. Essays prepare you for the same thing. So another thing I want to implement is that when you're in college, the long-form persuasive or argumentative essays actually equal a white paper in the digital marketing world. It does the same thing, and I'll go into that a little further. Now, you have to study these insights about essays, whether you're in elementary school, middle school, or high school, and here they are. In college, a thesis statement is important for the essay. That thesis statement tells the reader what the article is about, the history of it, and the direction it's going. It's a compass. Go to the digital marketing world of copywriting, advertising, sales. The headline does the same thing. So in actuality, a headline is a thesis statement. A headline is a thesis statement. An attention-grabbing headline, a killer headline, a powerful headline is nothing but a thesis statement taught in academia. How many of you have heard a teacher tell you this, what I'm telling you now? Very few, if any. I'll continue. The introduction gives you an accurate history of the service, product of an agency in digital marketing. The introduction in college, again, gives you the history, the background, the time frame. When did this subject start? What about it? The who, what, when, how, and why, and the where of it. All the minute details which are highly needed to run a business and help a business to run smooth. Now, the APA research outline is one of the most powerful strategic content planning. What does that equal in digital marketing? A buyer's persona with your demographics and the background of what your average client would look like. That's still an outline. A buyer's persona is nothing but an outline of statistics and data about the ideal customer who would buy those services or products. With an APA outline, it's a skeleton with details filled in to create a purpose of people not only reading, but taking the information and using it just like a service or product. The college course syllabus has titles of subjects and minor subjects, major and minor subjects. In digital marketing, that equals keywords, long tail and short. There's your SEO right there in the college syllabus or middle school, high school. Your connecting sentences and paraphrasing also deals with SEO keywords. You need that in digital marketing. You're being taught that already in college or high school or maybe middle school with an essay. The in-text citations and references of an essay, leading the reader back to where you got the information, giving credit where credit's due, finding the source of the information equals SEO backlinks on a website or a blog. Because a backlink on a website or a blog leads you back to more credible information. Remember, I said you have to establish credibility and authority as a professional in whatever niche you're in, whether it's being a chef, electronics, or SaaS, software as a service. Doesn't matter. The basics are the same. So there's your backlinks already taking place in a certain form in your essays. Now let's think about this. Before all this computerization at a library, when you went to the library back in the 50s, 60s, 30s, maybe even the 70s, they had those index cards which were reference points to the books on the shelf. Those can be considered backlinks back then. You look at the index card, you look at the number, you go to the aisle that matches the number on the index card, they reference one another. Relevance is vitally important in any business to start it, scale it, and cause it to grow and expand. So there you have that. Now your annotated bibliographies taught in college or high school or maybe even middle school now show the author of a book and a lot about the background with references as well. In digital marketing, that equals your landing pages, aka about me pages and about us pages. So that's where that stems from. Now we have our PowerPoints taught in school or college. Your PowerPoint prepares you for webinars because you have to show slides in a webinar. Your TEDx talks, your graphics, Adobe and others, infographics, psychographics, it's all preparation to use quality images and even photography. cartoon graphics, video, all of that is a part of PowerPoint because there's different things to do in PowerPoint, different shapes and images you implement in those slides, and the segmentation there as well. What is that dealing with? Email marketing. It's right there. It's right there. So anybody that tells you you're not qualified for email marketing because you just came out of college and blah, 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 they're full of baloney. Anyone can follow instructions is my point. You have to think that you're not going in as an employee, you're coming forth as an expert like they are. You got to put your mind on the same plane because, see, it's a psychological game they try to play on you. Okay, let's continue. Your expository essays in college cover tech, that's your SASS. It covers marketing copy, SEO copy, brand copy, direct response copy. It covers all areas of copy. Why? Because the person investigates an idea or hypothesis. They evaluate the evidence, social proof. They expound on the idea and set forth an argument concerning those ideas clearly and concisely. Now answer this. Doesn't an authoritative blog, website of any company do the same thing? HubSpot, Neil Patel, Copy Hackers, Brian Clark, HF, Answer the Public. It goes on and on and on. David Garfinkel goes on and on and on. Iowa, same thing. Your comparative essays in college equal a comparative or competitive analysis in digital marketing. In order to grow, in order to outdo your competition in digital marketing, you have to do a competitive analysis to see what your competition is doing, how they're doing it, not to copy, but to gain strength and some insight on how to maneuver in your content strategy. Then you have your narrative essays, which is telling a story. Storytelling is very important in digital marketing. Commercials tell a story. McDonald's tells a story different from Burger King. Burger King tells a different story from Nike, but it's all storytelling. Your persuasive/argumentative essays in college are convincing the reader. So that's direct response copy to respond to your CTAs, organizing and presenting your well-reasoned conclusions to persuade your target audience to accept or at least consider your point of view. That's the exact purpose of a CTA, call to action. Okay? So you begin at the end and you explain until your conclusion seems inevitable. What does that mean? They see you as the only one with a solution or solutions to their problem, aka copywriting, sales, advertising. It's all there in the development of an essay. All of Dr. Robert Cialdini's principles of influence are covered while learning persuasive essays. Persuasive speech, they give you that in college. I did several, 5-minute speech. How does that prepare you for negotiations in business? Objection handling, high-end sales, presentations, demonstrations, webinars, TEDx talks, interviews, podcasts, YouTube videos, social media, planning and preparation. Why? You're getting used to standing in front of people. You lose the fear of being in front of people. You learn how to enunciate your words and not to say and over and over. You replace that with something else to make your speech flow more smoothly so that your target audience can understand you and gain value from what you convey. Now we have the descriptive essay that describes. So it describes the big benefits of a service product and describes the features and the benefits they provide in digital marketing or in business. Again, the descriptive essay describing what does the customer get out of this product or service? What's in it for them? Got to describe that to them and build those emotional triggers so they say, yes, I want to buy this, I want to buy that, whatever that product or service is. Then in college, which I hated, was the data and statistics. And later on, I found out they're vitally important because without any data, you can't create accurate and effective content in the digital marketing world. So that deals with the SEO, your Center of Content Creations, your Google Analytics, your SERPs, reading and understanding the specific metrics in digital marketing. There's some that are similar, the same as B2B and B2C, then there's other differences. But you have to know those and measure them in order to create not only quality content, but to understand what's wrong, why it's wrong, and how to fix it. You learn all of that during college essays or sometimes middle school and high school because they give you statistics. Now, the persuasive long-form essay I mentioned before, that is actually a white paper. In college, they're called business reports. You open them up, you got to formulate them like a book with graphs. So that's what white papers do in digital marketing. And with a white paper, the agency has to request it. You can't just give them one. Gordon Graham, who is the godfather, I say, of white papers, I actually shared this information with him. He's called the White Paper Guy. Google him, and he told me, Michael, you're correct. These are very relevant and synonymous, a long-form essay in college and a white paper. They're basically the same. And Gordon Graham gives over 40 examples of a white paper. So if you're in school and doing business reports, look on Gordon Graham's website, see the samples of his white papers, and compare it to your business report. The only thing different may be the length and the title. Everything else, the format is the same. It's all the same. So your documented journals in college, which are very informative, they prepare you to write and understand case studies in digital marketing. There are different writing styles taught in college. You have the APA, American Psychological Association. All businesses are based off of psychology. Even the drug dealers and shysters and scammers use psychology. It's called dark psychology. You have your AP style, which is the Associated Press, Chicago, MLA, Modern Language Association, the Great Reference, Harvard, AMA, American Medical Association, Hemingway, and CGOS, Columbia Guide to Online Style. Got it. So that prepares you for what? How to cite. Give citations online. If it's something normally known in the digital marketing world, you don't have to give a reference. But if it's something you did not know or others rarely know, and you got that information from a good, credible source, you have to note that, say, from the notes of, or give a citation or a backlink, or reference. Same thing. Furthermore, all of these copywriting skills are taught either in high school, maybe elementary school now, and college. Research skills. Interpersonal skills. That's Howard Gardner's 7 intelligences in action. Problem solving. Look at the great philosophers, Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, and others. Even Jesus. Creative thinking. Your technical skills are taught in school. Got to learn Zoom because they have different projects. And then there's some scientific projects. You got to hit a link and it opens up and there's things moving around and you do your scientific experiments. All of that is technical knowledge you can use in digital marketing. Companies need that all day. Adobe, PowerPoint. Then you have communication skills, effective communication, active listening, you have that. How to read nonverbal cues. And then strong writing skills, which are the essays themselves, proper pronunciation, how to proofread, how to edit, how to copy edit. All of that is taught while doing an essay. Why? You can't turn your essay in, or you shouldn't turn your essay in, without proofreading it. And most colleges have a link or a way that you can upload it to something like Turnitin, which checks for plagiarism. Your paper has to be 80 to 82% original. 80 to 82% original. And so that way there will be no plagiarism and no lack of credibility, no lack of establishing authority, not only in college, but you'll keep the same ethical habit up while you're in the business world. So my question to you is, many of you didn't know this and you're just learning something, and I'm glad you're listening to the end. How long will you allow corporate America to pull the wool over your eyes? I didn't say don't work in corporate America. Just don't let corporate America work you. You need to learn how to work the system for your benefit, whether you stay there or whether you stay there and gain knowledge and then branch out into your own enterprise or assist someone else like Brian Dean did. He worked with Neil Patel for free for more than 10 years writing his material. Now look at Brian Dean. Excellent copywriter. His net worth is probably over 20 million. Neil Patel's is over about 30 or over. So these guys put in the time. They were consistent. So are you ready to take control of your destiny? If you are, you can reach out to me at my email, mikeiswealthy@gmail.com. That's mikeiswealthy@gmail.com. If you're ready to outdo your competitors, you can reach me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Quora. I don't use Pinterest that much, and also YouTube. So if this has really helped you, I want you to leave a comment, like and subscribe to one of my social channels. And I challenge you to work with me so that you can scale your career, your personal life, and or your business products and services using these insights and more that I've learned over 20 years. I've been in this thing 21 years. So you have someone that's not a novice, and you have someone that has shared with you things that an academic person or academic teacher will never share this information with you. God bless you. Signing off. Share this with somebody.